Coach, that's the largest margin of victory in school history. Obviously a big historic night for you guys. Reset the margin that you guys set against Johnson just a couple years ago on this day 2 years ago. And what does it mean to have such a big win at home?
Well, one, this day must be special. So I got to make sure I talk to our staff about scheduling the right opponent on the right date again, so we make history next year. But at the same time, I think it just speaks, when you look at the box score, you get an opportunity to kind of see our guys' level of unselfishness and just their basketball character. The way they move the ball today, we just talked about it as a staff, it was unreal. You know, usually those type of games usually score, you know, a high of 90, maybe 100, but at the same time, just to be able to see that guys were unselfish from the beginning of the game all the way to the end was highly impressive.
What do you think about some of those guys getting their first college buckets, first college minutes? I mean, this team seemed to love it really much.
Oh, it's unreal, right? You got a guy like Roman who, you know, he works so hard day in, day out in practice. To be able to see his ability to come in and stay ready, you know, it's not like he was a guy who got early minutes in the first half, but when his number was called, and it shows with the box score, everybody came in for the most part, did their job the right way, and try to contribute. You know, it's highly impressive when you look at the amount of guys who played tonight, and only two guys, and I probably need to look that up. We only had two guys who didn't have an assist. Everybody else who played had an assist.
You guys got on the break a lot tonight. What would you say about your tempo and pace throughout the night?
You know what? Coach Comer, our offense coordinator, the one thing that he really challenged our guys to do is to play with pace. He talks about it all the time, just making sure that if somebody's running in front of you, they have that dolphin on their chest, make sure that you advance the ball early. He talked about, you know, trying to get paint touches early, but at the same time, he really wanted to control tempo.
Coach, you kind of talked about it at the open, but no one player really ate up the points in the box score. A very balanced effort, everybody involved in the ball. What do you think that says about your depth and your approach offensively, that not one guy scored a bunch of points, but everybody got involved and the team scored a bunch of points?
Well, I think it gives us the opportunity to be extremely dangerous. The one thing that we tell our guys is, you know, we don't want them to be scoutable. That's the one thing that we often talk about is, you know, the teams that are most dangerous is, you know, you key in on one guy and then another guy emerges. And so for us to be able to have multiple guys, I think it speaks to our depth. I think it talks and also speaks to our assistant coach's ability to recruit. And so you have a bunch of guys from different levels, high school. You take a guy like MJ Harper, right? He scored extremely well. He's supposed to be a high school senior right now. He actually skipped a year and came out early. And so, like I said, it's a good thing to have, but at the same time, it can cause a lot of issues too if you don't have the right type of people to handle it.
Coach, what can you tell us about Simon Wheeler? He was one of the few that stayed after last year. You went through the ACL injury. What can you tell us about him and his resilience in getting on the court?
Well, I'll tell you this. The one thing, he did jump shot tonight, and my heart took an extra beat. And I looked over our staff. I told Coach Coleman, I said, what is he doing? And you know what? You know, he's trying to make an aggressive play. He's trying to get to the rim. But you talk about a guy who's been through so much, right? He's a team-first guy. He loves his teammates. You know, he texted me after our last game and said, Coach, you know, I only played 13 minutes. I feel like my body can take more. And I said, hey, Simon, I'm looking at Josh Washington's update with your body weight. You came in at a whopping 150, and now you're at 147. And so I'm gonna make sure that this time you make it a conference play. And he was like, okay, Coach, if you want to gauge my minutes, I understand. But our goal for him is to continuously just work him in there until he's back to 100%. Put a couple more pounds on him with, you know, the help of Josh Washington, obviously with his nutrition and forcing him to eat. But at the same time, I'm just so proud of how hard he's worked to get back and be able to get back on the floor again.
Very special night inside of Swisher tonight with the women's game first, your game second. You've talked about your relationship with Coach Jennings a lot. What can you say about that, and how important was this night to not just men's basketball, but JU basketball as a whole?
Yeah, you know, Coach Jennings is such an awesome individual, right? You talk about her ability to be able to pour into young women, to uplift them, to give them goals and aspirations going forward beyond just the basketball court. And so to be able to kind of share the hallway, to share their BPC, and get a chance to kind of see how day in, day out her young women work so hard in practice, and then to go out and see them be able to do it in Swisher. And, you know, they had a hard-fought victory the other day, 86-84, over a really good team in Charleston Southern. And so we often have conversations. I know she's going to give me a text message tonight and says, hey, good luck. Your free throw shooting is bad. You need to make sure you get me in the gym. I told you I got a drill for you. And so oftentimes, like I say, it's just fun to be able to share the hallway with her every day, to have somebody that you respect in that manner that can help push you to be greater, but at the same time you can lean on and have deep conversations about the game of life.
Cool. Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate you guys.